Trash talk, eye rolls, fans chanting insults, and two of the biggest stars in the game going at each other like heavyweight boxers. But that's exactly what happened when Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka turned fairways into battlegrounds. This wasn't just golf, it was war. And today, we're diving into the wildest rivalry the sport has ever seen, a feud that changed golf forever.
Buckle up.
Between Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka didn't just appear out of nowhere. It started with subtle digs that slowly escalated into a full-blown feud. Bryson, nicknamed the Scientist, introduced a radically analytical approach to golf, obsessing over physics, single-length irons, and building his body into a power machine. On the other side, Brooks embodied the cool, no-nonsense athlete who often downplayed golf's difficulty and prided himself on mental toughness. Their contrasting styles clashed from the start. Bryson's eccentric methods rubbed many players the wrong way, but none more than Brooks, who openly questioned whether Bryson's approach truly belonged in the traditional culture of golf. This clash of personalities laid the foundation for what would soon become golf's most explosive rivalry of the modern era, a drama the sport hadn't seen in decades. Things began heating up in 2019 when Brooks Koepka called out slow play on tour, directly referencing Bryson without even saying his name. DeChambeau had built a reputation for taking a long time over shots, carefully calculating every factor down to wind resistance and green slope. Brooks, known for playing quickly and aggressively, wasn't having it. He publicly criticized golfers who delayed the game, and everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. Bryson fired back in interviews, defending his methods and insisting he was within the rules. The golf world suddenly had a feud that felt like professional wrestling. Two completely opposite figures taking open shots at each other in press conferences, on social media, and even in subtle on-course gestures. The rivalry hit viral status at the 2021 PGA Championship. During an interview, Brooks Koepka rolled his eyes in disgust as Bryson noisily walked behind him. That clip spread like wildfire across the internet, instantly becoming a meme and cementing the feud in pop culture. Brooks didn't even try to hide his dislike. The raw, unfiltered frustration was clear for everyone to see. Fans rallied behind the drama, choosing sides in what became known as Team Brooks versus Team Bryson. The eye roll wasn't just a reaction, it was a declaration. It showed the world that this wasn't just friendly banter between competitors. This was real animosity boiling over, and it elevated their beef from golf circles into mainstream sports entertainment. What made the DeChambeau Koepka feud truly modern was how much of it played out on Twitter and Instagram. Brooks would post cryptic jabs, and Bryson would clap back with sarcastic replies. One famous moment came when Brooks offered beer to fans who were kicked out of tournaments for heckling Bryson by yelling "Brooksy." It was pure trolling, but fans loved it. Suddenly, golf felt like a contact sport, not on the fairways but on timelines. DeChambeau, who often struggled with fan criticism, became visibly irritated by the constant chants, while Brooks leaned into the villain role, encouraging the mockery. Social media turned their rivalry into a spectacle bigger than tournaments themselves, drawing attention from casual sports fans who normally never watched golf. The sports media thrived on every little dig between Bryson and Brooks. Headlines exaggerated the tension, interviews were clipped for maximum drama, and analysts debated who had the mental edge. The PGA Tour itself even capitalized on the feud, subtly promoting it to generate interest in tournaments that normally wouldn't attract massive audiences. The narrative was irresistible. The scientific, eccentric outsider versus the laid-back, traditional powerhouse. Golf, a sport often seen as too quiet or gentlemanly, suddenly had its version of a prize fight. The media turned their rivalry into box office content, fueling the flames until fans demanded the two face-off in a head-to-head showdown. Despite the chaos, the golf world witnessed a surprising twist in 2021 at the Ryder Cup. Both Bryson and Brooks were selected for Team USA, sparking questions about whether their feud would derail team chemistry. Shockingly, they set aside differences and even shared an awkward hug during the celebrations after the US crushed Europe. For a moment, it seemed like the rivalry had cooled off, and many wondered if the feud had just been overblown. But deep down, fans knew the tension hadn't disappeared. It was just temporarily buried under patriotism and victory champagne. The Ryder Cup truce became a strange but memorable chapter, showing that even bitter enemies could unite for a bigger cause. The ultimate showdown came when the two agreed to settle things in the match, a made-for-TV exhibition in Las Vegas. It wasn't just about golf, it was theater, marketed like a heavyweight fight. Trash talk filled the promos, fans picked sides, and anticipation built to see who would finally get bragging rights. Bryson entered with his analytical swagger, while Brooks exuded his cool, unbothered demeanor. When the competition began, Brooks dominated, delivering steady, confident play while Bryson's energy seemed to fade under the spotlight. Brooks' victory was decisive, and it gave him the last laugh in front of a national audience. The match solidified Koepka as the alpha in their feud, but it didn't kill the rivalry. It only made it more legendary. The rivalry took on a new layer when both players joined LIV Golf. Bryson embraced the chance to experiment in a less traditional environment, while Brooks continued proving he could perform on any stage. Although they were now part of the same controversial league, the shadow of their rivalry followed them. Fans still remembered the insults, the memes, and the iconic viral moments. Even within LIV, comparisons continued. Who would win more events, who would stay more consistent, and who would truly represent the face of this new era of golf. The feud may have mellowed, but it became part of their identities, forever linking their names together. Whether you loved or hated it, the Brooks-Bryson feud injected life into golf. Younger fans tuned in, memes spread across TikTok, and suddenly golf highlights trended on social media feeds usually reserved for basketball or football. Their rivalry made golf feel dramatic, edgy, and unpredictable. It forced people to take sides, and in doing so, it reminded everyone that golf isn't just about swings. It's about personalities, rivalries, and the human stories behind the players. This feud may not have been polite or gentlemanly, but it brought golf into conversations it hadn't been part of in years. Looking back, the fight between Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka wasn't just about golf swings or tournaments. It was about identity, style, and clashing philosophies. Bryson represented innovation, science, and breaking traditions, while Brooks stood for toughness, swagger, and simplicity. Their feud will be remembered as one of the few times golf crossed into mainstream drama, creating moments fans will never forget. The slow play criticisms, the eye roll, the chants of Brooksy, and the match. Even if their animosity has cooled, the rivalry left a permanent mark on golf history. It showed that golf, often seen as too polite, could still deliver rivalries as intense and entertaining as any sport on earth. At the end of the day, the rivalry between Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka was never just about who could hit the longest drive or sink the toughest putt. It was about personality, pride, and proving a point. Both men walked away with victories, scars, and unforgettable moments that fans will be talking about for decades. And while the fire between them may have cooled, the legacy of their feud is permanent. It showed us that golf, a sport often dismissed as quiet and reserved, can still deliver the kind of raw emotion and spectacle that rivals any other. Bryson and Brooks may one day be remembered more for their achievements on the course, but their rivalry will always stand as the moment golf broke through into mainstream drama. And that's what made it legendary. In the end, Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka gave golf something it hadn't seen in years. Raw emotion, fire, and a rivalry that turned quiet fairways into arenas of drama. Whether you stood with Bryson the scientist or Brooks the powerhouse, this feud reminded us that golf isn't just about swings and scores. It's about passion, pride, and legacy. And if you enjoyed reliving this battle, don't forget to subscribe to Golf Facts for more stories, rivalries, and moments that bring the game to life. Hit that like button, join our growing community, and stay tuned, because in golf, the drama never ends.